Welcome to The Gaggle, where we talk politics in Arizona and beyond. This week in Arizona politics, Steve Bannon has said Arizona's GOP elite will reap a whirlwind. But who is that whirlwind? A family feud has erupted in Paul Gosar's family. But first, Craig Harris, Doug Ducey is making it rain. You had a big story out this week. Tell us about it.
Well, you know, during the State of the Address, Doug Ducey got up and got a huge ovation from Republicans, Democrats, and everyone alike, saying that teachers deserve a raise. And he talked about getting a raise. But when it came out, the teachers didn't really get much of a raise at all. I mean, actually, what the governor was offering was less than 1% of a raise. But what we found out was that the governor has doled out pretty sizable raises to agency heads, up to 33%, folks on his staff raising up to 20% raises. And the average raise in the Ducey administration is 11%, which is more than double the rate of inflation and more than double what some state employees have got.
There were some numbers in there that jumped out to, I think, political insiders like us, people in the Capitol bubble. Can you give us some of the high points? Kevin Donnellan, for example, has been a longtime ally and friend of the governor's. He got a pretty sizable raise. Who else?
He received a huge raise along with Daniel Scarpinato, who we talked to a lot, who's the governor's spokesman, other folks within the office. His scheduler got a 20% raise. Her salary went up $10,000. So a lot of folks that are in the inner circle got big pay raises, along with agency heads who he also gave close to 10% or more raises to those folks. And so he's been very generous with taxpayers' dollars when it comes to those who have supported him or maybe even made financial contributions to him or have been within his inner circle and campaigned with him.
So he is going to have a hard time reconciling these raises with what he has proposed for others, namely teachers, during his re-election bid. How does he find his way out of that?
You know, I don't know. That's a tough question because just today I got calls from a handful of folks who said they were lifelong Republicans. They voted for Ducey and they said they're not voting for him again. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. So I think it is going to be an issue. I think it's going to be a huge issue that whoever wins the Democratic primary will use against him. And it's, you know, as we talked earlier, it's just not good optics. When you promise to give teachers who are the lowest paid in the country or among the lowest paid in the country, depending on whether they're elementary or high school teachers, rock bottom in pay, and you promise them pay raises and you give them 1%, and that you're giving your friends and people that are tight with you double-digit raises, the optics are just not very good.
Speaking of optics, Steve Bannon was in town. He brought his Take Back America message to quite a few supporters of Kelly Ward, who is running against Jeff Flake. Take us inside that venue. What was that like?
Well, it was kind of interesting in that Steve Bannon was kind of a surprise guest. He was not actually listed as a headliner or a guest at this event. He was invited by the headliner, who is conservative radio host Laura Ingraham, who is a big fan of Kelly Ward. And so all day long, it was kind of, there's questions about whether Bannon was really going to come, and if he did come, what was his role going to be. He actually did take the stage. He called Kelly Ward that whirlwind that you mentioned earlier. He really talked about his GOP revolt against Mitch McConnell, especially the Senate Majority Leader, but also he seemed to be talking about, you know, just the Republican GOP Senate in general. He made references to people. He didn't mention them by name, but he was talking about guys like Bob Corkery and John McCain who have criticized Donald Trump in recent months.
So much intrigue. Ron, speaking of intrigue, a family feud has erupted in the Gosar family. What's that about? You have gotten kind of a front row seat.
Yeah, I'm not sure I wanted it, but we have it. Paul Gosar made some news last week talking about his plan to lift the block on Facebook that he had put on some constituents who had been using intemperate language and such. His remarks also included an accusation, essentially, that George Soros, the liberal activist and donor, was a Nazi collaborator, more or less. His brother reacted badly to that and essentially said that Paul Gosar owes an apology to George Soros, and has doubled down on that. And so that is still out there and has really kind of exposed this family rift that I think we're all kind of watching from afar.
And tune into the podcast to hear a little bit more about that. For a new segment, Craig, what can't you let go of?
Well, one thing I think I can't let go of is the response that we've had in regards to the raises that the governor gave out. I got a call today from a 80-year-old woman, lifelong Republican, and I can't say some of the words that she said about the governor, but she said she voted for him, but as far as she's concerned, he can go back and start selling ice cream again, and she will never vote for him again because she's so mad about the raises that he gave his staff.
Wow, that's a reaction. What can't you let go of?
I just can't let go of whether or not this GOP Senate field is settled yet, or if there's other candidates who still might get in.
And Ron?
I can't let go of Sylvia Allen's charter school getting an F. That's terrible.
Thank you for watching. We will see you next week.